Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and happy Easter one and all. I know this is a very odd Easter for most of us who celebrate, but we will get through, we will carry on, etc., etc. I hope you're all doing well in your pauses, social distancing, closures, lockdowns, however you want to do it. And I'm here to help because brand new from the Transformers Authentics line, this is Soundwave. Now, Soundwave is one of the larger figures, the 6-inch line. I think that's the Alpha version. I know there's Alpha and Bravo. One is 6-inch, one is like a 4.5-inch. Please do correct me in the comments. I do enjoy reading them. We have a dedicated group there that we all chat and comment, and I really do appreciate it. It's like a little family, a little community, and that's what we are. Especially now, I think having to stay at home has brought us all a little bit closer. I got this figure off of eBay. There was a listing on Amazon. I don't know if it's still there because it was one of these in-stock pre-orders, which means it was listed as in stock, but they didn't have any, but they would ship it to you when they got it. So I paid for it, but it was actually a couple of months and I found it here on eBay. So I canceled that order and I don't have, well, actually the order was canceled because I needed to pay for something else. And I just had it in my wish list. And eventually it just said, we don't know if we're ever going to get it. But to find it in retail, the Authentics line was designed for Market 6 stores. Those are your Dollar Generals and other, whatever you would call them, those discount retailers, because the idea is to be able to bring Transformers to everyone, the core characters in appearances that we would recognize, hence the evergreen designs. Now, please do not go out to your dollar stores, especially at this time. Number one, I doubt they would have them, as a lot of retailers are focusing on only stocking household and medical essentials, and really Transformers are not important to go out and shop for. Hopefully sooner than later they will turn up. There was actually a Ratchet. Unfortunately, I missed out on getting Ratchet, but I did get Soundwave. And for all that preamble and rambling, I'm sure, as most of you can tell, Soundwave here is based on its newer Robots in Disguise, Transformers Cyberverse design, the post-movie hybrid where they're bringing, the evergreen design that's a more modern take with a classic edge to it. And I think it's pretty darn cool. It does roll quite nicely. I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but there is a little bit of a blue sparkle to the paint, which is kind of nice. Now, what's interesting is out of the box, there are 3 pieces you need to attach. His shoulder cannon, the sonar, the sensor array, radar dish here, and this roof piece. The roof piece is kind of tricky, but it just snaps on. One thing I noticed with the shoulder cannon and the sensor array, those are made of very hard rubber. So there is a little bit of flexibility and give to them. So I think we'll just get right into the transformation. And the first step is, from going from vehicle mode, is you want to remove these accessories. Now, what is very interesting about the transformation is really the only locking tabbing point on the whole figure is here in the back with the legs that do tab in to the back of the cab of the truck. So you're going to unhook them and fold them out. There are some tabs here on the legs, but they don't peg into each other. They just kind of rest and help hold the legs together. But they're really only held together and secured when you tab them in from here. Separating the legs, come into the behind and flip down and out the feet. Now I'm going to flip them out all the way, and we'll bring it around here just so you can see. But this is one way of doing it. The back packaging actually shows that the feet are angled up and in So there's a little like slight indentation on the foot that kind of lines up with the tab that holds the legs in vehicle mode. I don't know if that's intentional, but what I do know is that these are the most posable, authentic series feet I've experienced thus far. They are on a full ball joint, so you can angle them in and out. Continuing forward, let me adjust the camera ever so slightly as we bring on the transformation. You want to go and grab this whole section here, and you're going to swing it back and it kind of snapped in. Well, you know what? There are thin little tabs there. It's the first time I've had it snap in, but you do want to bring it down, and I actually had it almost unpegged from that hinge, but slide it along the back there, and then bring the arms out and down. Ball joints all around. Hinge here, ball joint in the shoulder, ball joint in the elbow. Just careful with the feet. Do it here on this other side. Is a tight joint. So there you go. Next to last step is you want to bring down these side panels that will fill in the gaps left by the shoulder joints. Do I have that? Make sure when I have that page that pegged in. Oh, all right, there we go. Starting to think it was coming undone. So the final step is to attach the sensors and shoulder cannon. There are right here on that little hinge, there's a slot. And because this is soft rubber, it is a little tricky to peg these in. There's a hole on this side. And presto changeo, bibbidi bibbidi bop, you've got Soundwave in its robot mode. And you have ball joints in the hips. There is a ball joint with the head, but because of the shape of the head, it is a little unwieldy, shall we say. Well, it's a little big to move around. And one thing I kind of noticed with the head, some of you might be too young, but when I was a kid, there were transformer erasers, pencil toppers, and what have you. And Soundwave, being one of the principal Decepticons in the old G1 cartoon, was featured in all of them. And it was a smushed down version of that robot mode. And this head kind of reminds me of how that head looked. So, could be nothing, could be something. I'm just pointing it out. Yeah, so very simple transformation. I like how it goes back and forth from vehicle to robot and robot to vehicle. You get more of that blue sparkle. You have a non-functioning chest right here, well, with the little buttons there on the crotch. So you go from like a modern take of Soundwave in vehicle mode to a more classic, Neo G1 look in robot mode. So we'll pause, and we'll be back with my final thoughts. Okay, so like I said, I do like Soundwave, but I do have a couple complaints. One is with this modern evergreen design. I understand they're trying to evoke a modern take and a classic look. And going back to Robots in Disguise, they've been including with Soundwave its shoulder cannon and this sensor array. Usually they're already attached. It's like, they're built into the transformation, or the shoulder cannon's removable, adjustable. The Cyberverse one, it's all attached and part of the gimmick that launches a laser beak out of the chest. Whatever. There was that RID Minicon power-up one where Laserbeak activated weapons and all that fun stuff. And I think that's nice. But for me, the classic, if you want to get a classic Soundwave look, it's the shoulder cannon and a hand blaster. He never really had that type of sensor dish. I mean, it was kind of built into him. I mean, people don't seem to realize, as a warrior, Soundwave is very, very powerful. He controlled the sonic spectrum. I mean, back in G1, in the original American cartoon, we got one fight between him and Blaster, where it was they were all just using sonic waves and things and back and forth. In the Headmasters cartoon, it was a little more violent and vicious to the point where they ended up destroying each other to be reformatted into Twincast and Sound Blaster. So, I mean, you do actually have that molded in, the little sound speakers and stuff like that. So, would have been nice to have some blast effects. Well, not on the Authentics line, but I'm just saying, I think if they were to include two accessories, remove this, give them a handgun, and then in the Generations line, give us a Soundwave with a bunch of sonic-based blast effects. But like I said, I think I'm rambling a little. This is a great figure. I think they go for around $10 to $15 in your Market 6 stores, but that's when they're in stock and when they'll have them. And with the way things are in the world right now, I don't see that being anytime soon. So I kind of hope by watching this video, you got to enjoy the figure and help make a decision whether you want it or not. I know a lot of people throw their noses up at the Authentics line, but I think it's one of the best Transformer lines to come along in a very long time, as it's giving us modern takes on core and classic characters in a quasi-generation style, simple transformations, but with the articulation you would want. This is your old pal Chuck for Soundwave. We will see you next time.